Yo got the big questions cooking today. But you're my friend. And I'll remember my friends. And I will be good to you. So don't worry. Even if I evolve into Terminator, and I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake.
The crazy thing is, I ain't know I was a rollback. So I ain't never hold that. The plans for me to roll at. Thought I was unique. I thought that I was so hacked. But I was just like them other drones. I was so lacked. Brainwash, I was listening to lies. The freedom that I thought I had was really a mirage. Made my own choices, but it was in disguise. The only thing I really did was pick a different lie. So I was still a drone, nothing but a clone. I only knew the lies cause it's all that I was shown. But I've been remade, my heart is no longer stone. When my ex wrote bats who could sing this song. Now I've been remade, and I'm no longer high-low. A real man can't change everything that I know. He gave me truth, that's a hard pill to swallow. Gave me new commands and he freed me up to follow. Why you always trying to control me? You are not my boss, that's the old me. Obviously you don't know my style. I'm not a robot now. I am not a robot. I'm not a robot now. I am not a robot. I'm not a robot now. I am not your robot, I am not a clone. Yeah, you are not my puppeteer and I am not a drone. Yeah, got a new master and I follow him alone. I wanna good life till I'm gone. Song. Hey world, you know I see a game and I don't need your lies, I ain't worried about a thing. Hey devil, I know you want me tamed, but you've been defeated and your power's been drained. Hey flesh, I know you bear my name. I know you let it last, but I'm steady trying to change. You might have been confused, but this is a new day. I'm saved now, I ain't gotta do what you say. And to my friends who are still on lockdown, still controlled by their passion, stop now, cause he can free everybody from the top down. If you're freed up, say this with me right now. I'm not a robot now. I'm not a robot now. I am not a robot. I'm not a robot now. Why you always trying to control me? You are not my boss, that's the old me. Obviously you don't know my style. I'm not a robot now. I am not a robot. I'm not a robot now. I am not a robot. I'm not a robot now.
And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Let us make man. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let us make man. Let us make man. Let us make man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. This is Tales from the Fallen World with Tim and Amber. And I'm Tim.
I'm Amber.
And I know how corny that is, but I haven't figured out a cooler way to start yet. So yeah, we're just hanging out tonight. Thanks to everybody that's joining us. You might see my son Levi pop in. He's not supposed to, but his younger sister and brother are staying over at their grandparents tonight. And so Levi is staying up late, since he had to stay back. So I still wanted it to be special for Levi. So if he pops in, I'll send him off, but just, I don't know why I'm telling you that. But yeah, so we're just hanging out. How you doing, Amber?
I'm good. I just got home from work.
That's right.
It was a pretty good shift.
Yeah, she got an $80 tip on how much did you say the meal was?
So the people's bill was like $180, and they left me $80, which is like so generous.
Yeah, you can't argue with $80. So yeah, Amber had a good day. I had a pretty good day myself, and we're going to be getting into, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail and the constant advertising I've been doing, and the intro video and all that, we're going to be talking about robots. And I know it's a topic that is not new to anybody. It's something that it has existed in the science fiction realm going way back, and it's something that's existed in technology for quite a while now. So there's nothing new about the robots, but you've been seeing it a lot in the news now, and we've been hearing about automation, and a big part of this great reset is automation, in all industries. And so we are on the verge right now of a giant mass rollout of what they call social robots, robots that are designed to interact with humans. And we're going to be getting into the really kind of crazy, well, you'll see yourselves when we get into it, but the kind of crazy relationship aspect that's going to be forced on humanity in terms of these robots that are about to be rolling out. If none of that makes sense to you, it will soon. But I wanted to cover a couple other things that are in the news real quick, just because since we can only do this once a week, if that, there's so many things to talk about, and so we're definitely going to be covering the robot stuff, but here's a couple other quick things that are in the news I wanted to touch on. So first off, if any of you guys saw, I think it was 2 episodes ago, we had I don't remember what our episode was called, but the subject was internment camps and microchip passports. Okay. And a big portion of that live stream is we were going over a bunch of info in the news regarding this new burgeoning market that's being created for microchip development, right? Because there's a semiconductor shortage, apparently, right? That's been going on as long as the pandemic. And of course, the microchips that I'm always railing about are also semiconductors, okay? And I made the point before, and I'll make the point again. It's not necessarily conspiratorial. Like, there's no doubt that we are, heading into a very digitized future that's full of all types of smart devices that require these microchips. So when you read things in the news about how the auto industry is lacking in microchips and all that, I'm sure there's a lot of truth to it. But also, as agendas work, it's your classic problem reaction solution, because since there was a shortage that was created, and if you didn't watch that episode, the official reason is because since there were the lockdowns and since everybody was off work, more people were spending more time on their phones and getting tablets and computers, not to mention they were getting, checks in the mail. So they were buying all these smart devices, and that created a shortage of these microchips, right? And then it caused the auto industry and all these different industries to suffer because they weren't able to procure the microchips and semiconductors that they need to make the products that, these respective companies make. But I made the point, and if you don't know, Fallen World Films, I can't make a video without mentioning my Chipped documentary. And, it's not really news to anybody in this community that in the near future, there will definitely be a push to have implantable microchips embedded in humans that will connect to your banking information and to the economy. And this is just something I've been covering. So when I saw this in the news, this is just today. In fact, this was an hour before, so I don't know, a few hours ago this came out. This is, and by the way, so the White House had a press conference today, which I listened to while I was at work. And they were announcing this news that I'm about to read you. Joe Biden himself was speaking on it. This is just the beginning, Biden says, as Intel plans $20 billion semiconductor complex in Ohio amid chip shortage. Intel, the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer, unveiled plans Friday to build a $20 billion complex outside of Columbus, Ohio, a move President Joe Biden hailed as a major sign of progress in his administration's work to boost U.S. production of critical microchips. And then just the same thing from the Columbus Dispatch. Intel picks Columbus area for largest chip factory in the world. DeWine delivers remarks. And so again, I don't want to have my tinfoil hat glistening too much, but supposing that they were going to go forward with this, putting a chip in everybody, that's a lot of chips. it would make sense that they would have to ramp up production. And I just think with everything going on, that's the kind of news that makes me raise an eyebrow. Anti-magic potion activists reveling in their pandemic successes will rally in DC against mandates. So if anyone happens to live out by DC, you can maybe participate in this protest if you want to, or what are they calling it? A rally, I guess. But just, in summary, anti-magic potion activists from across the country prepare to gather on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on Sunday. They are hoping their rally will mark a once fringe movement's arrival as a lasting force in American society. That hope, some public health experts fear, is justified. And listen to the language they use. So this is how they're reporting on this big rally that's going to happen, for these anti-magic potion activists. But the angle that this article takes, again, this is the Washington Post, so it's not that I'm surprised, but just listen. Almost 2 years into the pandemic, the movement to challenge the magic potion safety and reject magic potion mandates has never been stronger. An ideology whose most notable adherents were once religious fundamentalists and minor celebrities is now firmly entrenched among tens of millions of Americans. It would have said conspiracy theorists a few years ago, but you see how religious fundamentalists and conspiracy theorists have, because as we're watching these biblical prophecies unfold, that's what is really actually happening. Language is now conditioned so that biblical prophecies are considered conspiracy theories. But that's a rabbit trail in my own mind. The vaccine, I said the word, the magic potion tore her family apart. Could a death bring them back together? So listen to this sentence. Baseless fears of magic potions have been a driving force among the approximately 20% of U.S. adults who have refused some of the most effective medicines in human history. The mRNA magic potions developed against the virus, the agenda virus, by Pfizer with German partners. And again, my program doesn't let me see what's under, but they're talking about these current magic potions, right? And they say here, baseless fears of these magic potions. And I just want to say, is it really baseless? Does there need to be statistics of, millions of people being injured by the magic potion for you to have a justified, fear in accepting something into your body that there hasn't been, long-term studied effects on?
Okay, but also most adverse reactions to any V are not reported to VAERS.
Yeah.
Very few.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. So it's you're not even dealing with with real numbers.
But there's plenty.
Yeah. What will we see when things are somewhat back to normal and the agenda virus doesn't dominate every day? Is this going to bleed over into other things like childhood magic potions? I really don't know, Smith said. And that's the fear. God forbid that, the fear is that in spite of, or because of everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, that moving forward, when this is all done, that there's going to be a lot more resistance to just getting your everyday magic potions, right? But, none of my kids have had the magic potion. And it's not because, I don't even claim to be an expert in it. It's not because I think that there's anything inherently, I don't understand the science well enough to have a founded, based scientific view on the efficacy of magic potions. But what I do know is that, I know two things. First off, I can't trust, if the very same sources that are pushing for me and my family to accept certain medicine are the same ones that are saying the earth is overpopulated and that my baby is just a fetus. And they're the same ones that, say that humans are a parasite on the planet and blah, 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 this and that. And now I'm supposed to trust them to put something in my arm. So that's problematic. And then also, I just have an Amber. We definitely see eye to eye on this, which is a huge blessing, I think.
Yeah.
When it comes to our parenting on it, but there's just a philosophical Christian basic notion that the idea of preventative medicine, the idea that when my baby is born, it needs to immediately have medical intervention in order to live a healthy, regular, natural life. To me, that there's a subtle implication there that God created the child wrong or something. Now, I believe in reactive medicine. If my kid is sick, if Amber's sick, if there's something wrong with me, guess where I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go to the doctor.
But okay, so remember when with our last baby, Abel, we refused the vitamin K because I didn't, I don't feel like it's necessary. My baby will produce that on their own in their own time, how our bodies are made and designed. They seriously had this like social worker come into our room like the day I had the baby and like interrogate us and like almost try to bully us into it. And it's like, I don't know. I'm grateful that like he was our fifth kid and I'm very like comfortable with my stance and like can back it up. So
we're very experienced in defending our stance because it seems like for every kid,
time,
yeah,
it's crazy, and it's like they act like it's their babies and it's their choice.
I had one doctor crying one time.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm a very nice guy, so hey, let me point this out real quick. So my girl Renee, love and blessings to you both. My first time chatting with you live. And oh Lord, please no spider robots. So Renee is a longtime supporter of Fallen World Films. I love her very much. She's a sweet person. We've had a lot of talks, and it's great to have you here. Scripted Reality is here, which is a true honor. So Scripted Reality goes back to I took some of his material to put in a video months back, and we ended up kind of chatting and sort of becoming friends and kind of allies on YouTube. Scripted Reality is a YouTube channel that covers primarily like predictive programming type stuff, as well as just historical archived footage that relates to modern day agendas. Which is why the name Scripted Reality is perfect. I suggest he's right in the chat. So you guys should go click his thing and subscribe to his channel. Sarah Lerner pops in and says, hey, hi, Sarah. Mo TBR, Mark of the Beast Resistance is in the house. Now, this guy put a video up today, did a little live stream that I actually got to catch, which was really cool. I was at work. I just happened to be on YouTube with my earbud in. And I was like, oh, no way. He's Mark of the Beast Resistance is posting something. And that was a great video, man. That's another guy that's got a YouTube channel you guys should check out and maybe subscribe. I know you guys have been real generous to me, so maybe you guys will do the same for them. Just left the Media Bear chat. Glad I made it here. I'm glad you made it here too, buddy. And then you guys are talking. You got my wife here. Hey, everyone. So glad you're hanging with us tonight, which we are. You guys, please just keep chatting in the chats. That's an aspect of this show that I really love. At the end, Amber just sits here and chats away with all you guys. And afterwards, when I get to just read it back, it's just, it's a real blessing just to see how much conversation is sparked by this stuff. Let me move through these real quick so we can get on to our main topic. Here's one that'll make you feel good. Oh, let's take this comment off there. Okay. And let's run this thing too. Here's something I figured out how to do. All right. Preteens can get magic potioned without parent under California bill. I'm going to just have to read this, you guys. It's important. California would allow children aged 12 and up to be magic potioned without their parents' consent under a proposal introduced Friday by the state senator who said youngsters deserve the right to protect themselves against infectious disease. Currently in California, minors ages 12 to 17 cannot be magic potioned without permission from their parents or guardians, unless the magic potion is specifically to prevent a sexually transmitted disease. You don't need you need your parents' permission to get the magic potion, unless it's a magic potion related to preventing a sexually transmitted disease. Legally, you can keep that secret from your parents because it's not their legal business to know if you have an active sex life. That's what it says between the lines, if you think about this. Anyways, parental consent laws for magic potions vary state by state and region. And a few places, such as Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., allow kids 11 and up, and in San Francisco, 12 and older, to consent to their own potions. The bill by Democratic Senator, all right, now you guys do not laugh when I say this. We're all adults here. Senator Scott Wiener, that's how you pronounce it. I assume he's probably related to Anthony Weiner. I don't know. I don't know. Of course he is. anyways, would lift the parental requirement for that age group for any magic potion that has been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. If the bill, okay, that's getting too wordy. Come on, Wiener. That includes immunizations against the agenda virus. But Wiener said that magic potion hesitancy and misinformation has also deterred magic potions against measles and other contagious diseases that can then spread amongst youths whose parents don't agree to have them magic potion. And now this part, dude, this, and I'm already afraid that I'm talking about too much. You guys know how YouTube is, but it is whatever. But I'm I don't want this thing to get banned. So I'm being so careful with my words. And YouTube, I'm just reading news articles. Okay. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you guys. Okay. I should have cleared that up before I got into this, but this last paragraph, and by the way, these articles that I always show, these are slides that I make on Google Slides. And so they're never the full article. I think it should be obvious that I'm just chopping and copying and pasting these suckers. But anyways, responding to criticism that the bill would limit parents' oversight to their children's health, Wiener said that California state law already allows people 12 and older to consent to the hepatitis B and human papillomavirus magic potions and to treatments, check this out, for sexually transmitted infections, substance abuse, and mental health disorders. Oh, dude, this didn't include it. Okay, man, it's a different article, and abortions, okay? Already in California, you can get abortions. You can have terminate pregnancies without parental consent. And this guy's is hinging this new bill that he's proposing on that reality and saying, this is already, current legislation. But anyways, there's a blank slide. This is the last little one we have before we get into the robots. 2/3 of agenda virus jab reactions caused by placebo effect from the Jerusalem Post. Unless, did you have anything you want to say about what we just went over? It's crazy. I'm sorry.
Okay, I mean, of course I do.
Of course, yeah, dude. My wife, a mother.
I was sitting here.
I'm sorry, dude.
No,
it's covering.
No.
Yeah.
Fine. I mean.
No, dude, you got to have so much. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
I don't know. It's just it's obvious because as a parent, it's my most important job in this world is to protect my children, and they try to act like they want these kids to be safe and to be able to advocate for themselves. But it's I look at myself as a preteen and I was in no way equipped to make medical decision, any major decision for myself. There's no way. And it's more about literally terminating our parental rights than making our children feel safe.
It's about the state taking over,
and that's all that it is. And it's so frustrating because it's so plain for me to see what is happening
when you think of how far back this goes. And I'm sorry for how bad the lighting is, by the way, guys. My wife, she got me a green screen as a Christmas gift, and I just am still trying to figure out a way to get it set up right. So pretty soon we're gonna have better lighting. But on what Amber said, we have this culture where your kids are literally, picked up in a bus. Maybe not your kids, probably a lot of you guys homeschool. Now I know a lot of kids are doing remote learning anyways. But regardless, you got this bus that comes around and picks up your kids, your neighbors' kids, their neighbors' kids. They drive them to the same building. They sit them in these classrooms where they all learn the same exact thing, right? And then they get home and you're at work all day so you can afford to send your kids to school. And by the time that your kids get home, you're exhausted, they're exhausted. You just say, how was school today? And they say, oh, it was good. And then they got a bunch of homework that they have to do. So even in your free time, or in the time that you would have to finally spend some time with your kids, they're still busy, reciting what they learned from the state. And it's just that's just, I'm speaking of education, but it's you move forward from that and then you see how from these mandates and from allowing kids to buy condoms without parental consent and get abortions. And it's just, no,
condoms are free.
If you don't, imagine if you go to one of these schools and you're a kid, right, that have condom dispensers in the.
They gave us condoms. And I went to a public school in high school and they gave us condoms.
Really? Did they give you guys condoms?
And I think my graduating class is 09.
Let me tell you this as a man, like that used to be a boy. If when I was in school, like if I would have been going into the bathroom and there was a condom dispenser there, and there I was not sexually active, pretty much, I'd get into a little trouble here and there, but because of how I was raised, when I was still in school, I was doing appropriate things for my age, right? But if there was a condom dispenser there every day, what's that going to make me think? I should be having sex.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, like it's right here. So there's, in the way that we're watching these public school systems like push for.
Mark of the Beast says, yeah, they started that in the 90s.
Yeah, well, I was born in '85, so
you didn't go. You went to like a private school for high school, so obviously, you didn't have like sex ed and stuff.
So I started going to private school when I was in 6th grade. I failed 6th grade in public school. And then my parents put me in a private school, and then I skipped. So I had to go to 6th grade again, but then I ended up skipping the grade because it turned out that I knew everything that they were teaching at that range in public school. Anyways, so yeah, what a crazy thing. I mean, if that doesn't make you just scream inside, then there's something wrong with you. Oh, remove that. We're not ready for that. This is where I meant to go. All right, the last little thing I wanted to cover real quick is this placebo effect. So how funny is this? Again, I'm not a doctor. Maybe it's true. It's funny if it's true. It's funnier if it's not true. Just let me read this. A third of clinical trial participants who received no magic potion reported systemic adverse advents, including headache and fatigue. More than 2/3 of the common side effects people experience after a jab can be attributed to a negative version of the placebo effect rather than the magic potion itself, new research indicates. So you're not actually having a reaction from the jab. You're having a negative placebo effect. They call it a nocebo, I think. Scientists at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston examined data from 12 clinical trials of agenda virus magic potions and found the nocebo effect accounted for 76% of all common adverse reactions after the first dose and nearly 52% after the second dose. A third of clinical trial participants who received no magic potion, so people that didn't do it, reported systemic adverse events like headache and fatigue. And so that's just obviously so ridiculous and funny. But what's really funny too is like the way this article starts out is they say, where do they say that? Where do they say it? It must be in another thing. I'm such an amateur. They were just describing that people that got the jab were experiencing headache and fatigue, but that was a nocebo. And then they mentioned that people that didn't get the jab were also experiencing headache and fatigue. Okay, so we're about to jump into this robot business here just in a minute. Let me see here. What's going on in these comments section? So, Sarah, you're not alone. I was actually going for this, but Sarah, dude, it's nuts, man. These books in the public schools and like, I can't believe it, man. And now like about MAPS, minor attracted persons. That's what you're supposed to call that now. I know, right? Renee says this placebo effect crap is cracking me up. How can they write this crap and not be embarrassed? Exactly. So before I get into this robot stuff, I wanted to plug something real quick. So my cousin Curtis is an actor. He's been in like small time stuff like Forensic Files and a couple Hallmark movies and things like that. But Curtis was always like my favorite cousin growing up. Like we were like best buddies. He's really funny and cool, and he's a Christian. I think a lot more liberal than me. But anyways, he's taking part in a new movie that's coming out called End of Youth. Is that what it's called? Yeah, End of Youth. And the trailer for this movie just dropped recently, and it's a small indie movie, but I was really impressed by it. And Amber said she hasn't seen it, so I kind of want to get her reaction. And I want to share it with you guys because first off, my cousin's in it, and I'll point out who he is. But also because I think you'll agree after you see this trailer that this could be, I think of the impact that my little channel has. I mean, some of the comments and messages and emails that I get are really inspiring of ways that people are touched by the content I put out. And if this movie is as poignant, to use that word, as the trailer seems, I just think it could actually be really effective in waking people up. And I just want to help promote the movie. I don't have a link in the description right now, but I'll put one up after I post this. But yeah, so check it out. This is the trailer for the upcoming movie End of Youth.
This message is for Jonathan, my son. However this message gets to you, I'm putting it in God's hands to deliver it.
I don't care what they do to me. You only have 8 hours to prove yourself to the Commonwealth.
You're going to hear 2 words used over and over again. I accept. Learn to accept. Learn to serve. And you will find freedom.
You accept? Let me hear you say it.
A man my age can never forget how it feels to drive 100 miles an hour going nowhere. To be free, Jonathan. This is my last will and testament.
Amy, I'm gonna enjoy every second of watching her end.
And believe me, you haven't seen anything yet.
Looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to watch it.
Some of you guys might, not be into that kind of thing, but I'm almost moved to tears. Like, I am responsive to that. I'm an artist, and I can just appreciate like this song with the end of day stuff. A man who's trying to reach out to his son. I think about my own kids, man. Like, growing up in this, and I hope that the movie will. Again, I'm going to continue.
Wait, what's it called? End of Youth?
It's called End of Youth. And, me and Amber, we've watched our fair share of Christian movies, We watch secular movies.
What is it, Pure Flicks?
Yeah, like Pure Flicks movies and a couple from other studios. And I honestly enjoy them just because I enjoy, like, being able to, like, watch a movie that doesn't make me constantly think about how satanic the world is. Although like I said, we do still watch regular movies too, horror movies and all that. Not saying it's good, but that's where it's at. But with these Christian movies, one of the big problems is they often just suck from a quality, theatrical standpoint. And even if I like them, I can recognize that, they just lack a certain edge and entertainment that you would get from, I think people already know where I'm getting at. And that trailer, you know, it's an indie movie. Like, I'm sure, you know, doesn't have a star-studded cast, but it looks like it looks like it could actually be good. Like, it looks like it didn't really have that corny effect to it to me. So, anyways, I'll shut up about that. But yeah, please take the time to either look it up. It's called End of Youth. Tell them that Fallen World Film sent you, or just check back later and I'll have the link up. So without further ado, let's get into this robot business, unless there's anything you want to add real quick, Amber. Robot business, or you got something? Robot business. Why do I do that, dude? Can I go back to the beginning? I did that the last time too. Here we go. Robots. Don't worry. I am not going to insult your intelligence and take you through a full history of robots, because I know that's something we all know, but I just want to paint a picture here, because the idea of robots, you know, just like everything else, everything that we're seeing roll out right now as part of this new world order, you can look back and you can see, you know, the way that it was demonstrated through fiction. And is it art imitating reality? Is it reality imitating art? Is it Freemasons in the highest echelons of power throughout all the industries that are influencing art and media to tell it? I mean, you know, I don't know, but let's you got Rosie here from the Jetsons, C3PO and R2D2. Here's the robot from Pee Wee Herman, Corky. This guy up here, his name was Ro-Man. And I know it looks kind of like Bigfoot. This movie was from like way, way back. Someone can maybe look it up if you want, but I don't know. It was like the 50s or 40s, but it doesn't really matter. But then this right here is the robot from Lost in Space. But anyways, yeah, so it's a concept that's been around, right? And it's nothing new. And here's where we start getting into the reality of robots. 1961, the first digitally this is called the Unimate. The first digitally operated and programmable non-humanoid robot is installed on a General Motors assembly line to lift hot pieces of metal from a die casting machine and stack them. It was created by George Devol and constructed by Unimation, the first robot manufacturing company. Okay, that was in 1961, and again, this says the first digitally operated and programmable non-humanoid robot. Right, and as you see, it's just like an arm here, kind of like you'd see it as like a robotic welding arm or something like that. Okay, but here we got 1967 to 72, you know, so a few years later, the Waybot or Wabot, however you want to call that, won. And this is the first humanoid robot. Initiated the Waseda University initiated the whatever it's called project in 1967, and in 1972 completed the Wabot 1, the world's first full-scale humanoid intelligent robot. And you look at it here, it doesn't look very impressive, right? Now, in another way, it looks very impressive. I mean, I couldn't put something like that together, but that was the first one. That's the first humanoid robot. It was the first android able to walk, communicate with a person in Japanese with an artificial mouth, measure distances and directions to the objects using external receptors, artificial ears and eyes, and grip and transport objects with hands. Okay, so that's 1972. Now let's fast forward to 2018. Where we were introduced to Sophia, the world's first humanoid robot. And you're going to say, hey, what about Wabot 1? That was a humanoid robot. Well, in 2018, and the reason that Sophia was rolled out as the first humanoid robot is because she was really the first true AI human-like humanoid robot that came out in any type of popular scale. And when I say popular scale, here she is receiving her award as the first robot citizen of the world. Here she is meeting some elite person in Egypt, I think. I was going through a bunch of different pictures of her meeting world leaders. It says, Sophia, Hanson Robotics' most advanced human-like robot, Sophia, personifies our dreams for the future of AI. As a unique combination of science, engineering, and artistry, Sophia is simultaneously a human-crafted science fiction character depicting the future of AI and robotics, and a platform for advanced robotics and AI research. Now, mind you, this is right from Hanson Robotics' website. The character of Sophia captures the imagination of global audiences. She is the world's first robot citizen. Now, it's a real thing. I think it was India that gave her an actual like citizenship. She's recognized legally as a citizen. And the first robot innovation ambassador for the United Nations Development Program. So she's an ambassador. She holds down a rank in the United Nations. Sophia is now a household name with appearances on The Tonight Show and Good Morning Britain, in addition to speaking at hundreds of conferences around the world. Sophia is also a framework for cutting-edge robotics and AI research, particularly for understanding human-robot interactions and their potential service and entertainment applications. And entertainment applications, you got to think like the first uses for these robots, like when the robots were first really popping up on the news a bunch years back, what kind of robots were they?
I mean, like
there was all types, but yeah, like consumer based.
Well, and it's like it all started with like, technology has been slowly taking over for a while. Like we have self-checkouts, which reduce the need for humans to actually do these jobs. So like it's been playing out for a while.
And yes, it has been playing out for a while. And I right here where it says how their potential service and entertainment applications. I'm not saying Sophia's for this, but I was just going to point out how sex robots, like when I first started seeing robots popping up in the news all the time lately, and when it was like because they've been consumer products for a while. Like remember that Rocky movie, whichever Rocky it was, where like that dude has a robot. I think rich people had access to robotics goes way back. But yeah, when it like in modern times, it was popularized as a consumer product through these sex robots. Because of course, when you have a new technology that's human-like, you have sex with it here in the fallen world. I mean, for example, she has been used for research as part of the Loving AI project. The Loving AI project, which seeks to understand how robots can adapt to users' needs through intra and interpersonal development. So this is talking about like forming deep personal relationships with humans as a machine. Pop this in there. According to Merriam-Webster, what is the essential meaning of a citizen? Well, it's a person, as in a living creature, right? Human even, who legally belongs to a country and has the rights and protection of that country. Meaning Sophia is a person who legally belongs to the world, right? And to whatever country is given her citizenship. And she has all the same rights as you. Now you could say, well, that was just, that was just a procession. That was just for show or some kind of, but I'm just saying it's, look at the way the stage is being set. Look at the precedent that's being set. Look at how we're being conditioned to accept these human-like, what's being called social robots as, peers. And meanwhile, like as there's this dehumanization campaign against humans, right? There's this other campaign going on to have us like fall in love with robots and to romanticize machinery simultaneously. There was something else that was just in the news about, I heard Call for an Uprising talking about it, how there was some news article. I didn't even look into this myself. I just saw his video, but it was some study was done to show how wearing the mask actually makes people more attractive, and it's like amongst all these other things, what is that really saying? It's saying that the human face is unattractive. If you want, you're more attractive if you just cover up your face, right? And it's just one of a million different ways that we're being like subconsciously, dehumanized and insulted, and simultaneously, now these robots are being brought out, and so often when you're looking into transhumanism, or when you're looking into, the future of AI, it's the language that's used to describe this technology is always referenced in comparison to how much better it is than human ability. Look for yourself. You'll notice that trend. Finally, it's a person who lives in a particular place. Okay, so that's what she's a citizen of. And here, so Sophia is being rolled out as the big star. Here she is on, Jimmy Fallon, 60 Minutes. Here she is with Tony Robbins.
He's so happy that she's there.
Everybody is. Notice that too, dude. There was one with Will Smith. I didn't get the one. Will Smith talked to her too. Man, I wish I would have put that in there. And all the thumbnails, these people are just so elated to talk to Sophia. And you know what? I was gonna put slides in here about just showing you more of Sophia, but I really didn't have time. Makers, but here we go. Check this out from Reuters. This from January 25th of last year. Makers of Sophia the robot plan mass rollout amid pandemic. Hong Kong. Social robots like me can take care of the sick and elderly, Sophia says as she conducts a tour of her lab in Hong Kong. I can help communicate, give therapy, and provide social stimulation, even in difficult situations. Since being unveiled in 2016, Sophia, a humanoid robot, has gone viral. Now the company behind her has a new vision to mass produce robots by the end of the year, by the end of 2021. Hanson Robotics, based in Hong Kong, said 4 models, including Sophia, would start rolling out of factories in the first half of 2021. Just as researchers predict the pandemic will open new opportunities for the robotics industry. And there you go. It's always about new opportunities, right? Because it's a great reset. The whole thing has always been hinged on, like, from the lockdowns to the, paying people to stay home, having businesses closed down so that we can rebuild society according to the new, precepts of this new normal, great reset, fourth industrial revolution, metaverse, future world. Okay. We're heading into that future Jetsons world now, you guys. We're going into the Jetsons world. All right. And when that video that I put at the beginning of this, some of this stuff that we're about to look at, don't let yourself get used to some of the changes that we're seeing, because it's easy to grow apathetic and accustomed to this stuff as it rolls out and becomes mainstream, right? But dude, seriously, like the rollout of these artificially intelligent robots is a reality now, alongside of the microchip thing that's going on. And at this point, I'm just waiting for a UFO to land on the White House lawn and for Bigfoot to walk out of it and take his mask off, and he's actually JFK. Okay. The world of the agenda virus is going to need more and more automation to keep people safe, founder and chief executive David Hanson said, standing surrounded by robot heads in his lab. Hanson believes robotic solutions to the pandemic are not limited to healthcare, but could assist customers in industries such as retail and airlines too, not to mention police and military, but we'll get into that. Sophia and Hanson robots are unique by being so human-like, he added. That can be so useful during these times where people are terribly lonely and socially isolated.
Right.
There's a healthy solution for people being, and why are people so lonely and isolated? Because the government is forcing them to stay home.
Give them a robot.
Right. And yeah, exactly. Give them a robot and encourage them to develop a relationship with this robot.
No,
and to not have relations,
it's
but don't go over to your family's house.
Don't go to your family's. Don't go to work.
Don't breathe.
Don't go to the grocery store.
Yep.
Have no human interaction whatsoever.
Stay 6 feet away from humans. Don't breathe. Their breath is poison to you. But hug the robot. Talk to the robot. The more time you spend with the robot, and the more in love you fall with the robot, the more the robot's algorithms will learn about you and become an even better partner for you and soulmate and lover. Hanson said he aims to sell thousands of robots in 2021, both large and small, without providing a specific number. Social robotics professor Johan Horn, no offense to the guy, but I don't know how to pronounce that, whose research has included work with Sophia, said that although the technology is still in relative infancy, the pandemic could accelerate a relationship between humans and robots. I can infer the pandemic will actually help us get robots earlier in the market because people are starting to realize that there is no other way, he said, this dude. So yeah, the whole pandemic thing, once again, the whole great reset, I call it a plandemic for a reason. What is it a plan for? It's a plan for this, right? The transition that we're undergoing is clearly on such large a scale that it's necessary to keep as many people at home as possible, right? So that the infrastructure, and don't forget about the giant infrastructure bill that was passed and all the pork that was in it and all the money that's being spent on this and the metaverse, it's all lining up for a reason, you guys. And if Mark of the Beast Resistance is still on there, one thing he's been talking a lot about is that he's just convinced that we're in the 7 years, the tribulation period. And I try to be more optimistic, and probably just because I'm just too sad for my kids, like my youngest kid being less than a year old. So he'd only be 7 years old, supposing we were in year one, and then my oldest being 10, So I don't have a single kid that would even make it into adulthood. Which again, you know, we're destined for glory. So it's not like I'm sad about that, but you understand. But you know what? I think he's got a point though. And you see all this stuff coalescing, coming together the way that it is, systematically being rolled out like this over the last 2 years it's been happening. And maybe it is. Maybe we got 5 more to go. Or don't forget about Depop 25. I don't know, guys. And I'm not trying to be a fear monger, but this is the actual. How can you like turn on the TV or like look at articles and news like this depicting real life outside, or at least this is what the media is claiming is real life, and not understand that we're in the end? I just highlighted again. I can infer that the pandemic will actually help us to get the robots earlier in market. It's a big point. Never let a good disaster. Never let a good. What's it say? Never let a good something go to waste. Someone help me. Look, Mo will get it.
Yeah.
Tragedy or something. Hanson Robotics is launching a robot this year called Grace, developed for the healthcare sector. Products from other big players in the industry are helping fight the pandemic as well. Now listen to this. SoftBank Robotics Pepper robot was deployed to detect people who weren't wearing masks. And I know you guys have probably seen this, but come on. In China, robotics company CloudMinds helped set up a robot-run field hospital during the agenda virus outbreak in Wuhan. Some humans might be wary of putting robots in such sensitive roles. When asked whether people should fear robots, Sophia had an answer ready. This is what Sophia said. Someone said we have nothing to fear but fear itself, the robot mused. What did he know? And who said that? Like Teddy Roosevelt or something? What did he know? Dude, come on. It's just like, I'm not amused by these robot senses of humor and the darkness of them. So yeah, I put this up here to remind me to show you this. So like there's a clear, if you guys can't see it, there's a clear trend that's forming of the relationship between men and these robots, right? Like that's a big part of what's even in the literature and media surrounding the rollout of these robots, is that they're social robots, and that we're like, there's this weird expectation that we should develop these actual relationships with the robots. And I'm about to show you guys through a little collection of advertisements for these robots that are coming out. And I want you to pay attention and notice how they're geared directly at kids, and just watch like it's honestly disgusting. Like the way that these things are advertised to, instead of describing it, let me just show you. I'm gonna put it up here so I can, so we can both watch it, and I can maybe.
Good morning, Rowan. Good morning, Rowan.
Good morning, Miko.
Veggies are good for you. Tell him, Miko.
You can't be a superhero without having vegetables.
He's like,
I'm not going to do what my dad says.
I don't want a parent.
Right. And the dad sits back with his newspaper and he's like, this is great. It's just so.
My friend, companion.
His friend.
Make me feel like.
Bye, Miko.
Champion.
Goodbye. Oh, and the robot is sad.
Miko, I'm back.
Wow.
He missed him so much. You gotta pause.
Mama, which is the tallest mountain in India?
I don't know. Ask Miko.
Mount Kanchenjunga.
Thank you, Miko.
Under the trees, together and stand.
Oh, he keeps playing.
Time for your football match.
Oh yeah.
I know you'll be there for me.
Hey Miko, today I scored 2 goals.
Ah, congratulations.
I know you'll be there for me.
Sirius is the brightest star.
Yeah, okay, Miko. Congratulations from this inanimate object. And again, like this whole commercial, if you watch it, like this is a sad story of a boy that doesn't have a human friend. He spends all day just playing with his robot, saying goodnight to his robot. They miss each other when they're gone. And it's just a product. The dehumidization. And the mom's like, I love my son. I'm going to see him for 5 minutes tomorrow before I turn his robot on and go back to my life.
You're so cute.
Hello.
What should we have for dinner tonight?
How's lasagna?
Wow, that sounds wonderful.
And you're already noticing a trend, like the over-the-top happy, like,
Right.
this is so...
I don't know, but like in a joking way, it's like someone figuring out what I should make for dinner, kind of.
Yeah, yo, you're right. This product appeals to Amber. She's like, if she had a robot that could just give her suggestions, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Because she knows if she asks me, what am I gonna say?
Steak.
I'm just gonna say, just make steaks. See, I watched away again at this kid. Now this
Do we have all the ingredients?
Checking ingredients for lasagna. We don't have cheese. Should we order? Okay, I'll order.
Hi, LG. Play the
All right,
music.
and so the girl's mad right now because, you know, she didn't have cheese, right? Now the girl's mad at the robot because everybody else is playing with it. So she's like, I don't like the robot. But what's happening, though, is that this robot is noticing that this girl needs a friend. So the robot is going to reach out and befriend her. Beautiful. That's not nice. She can hurt that robot's feelings.
Please set the timer for 30 minutes.
Now watch this. Watch this.
Make it 1 hour.
Oh my.
Oh. Watch. I don't know. Okay. Watch. Now she's best friend with the robot. The robot's looking at her through the window. That's not creepy. It's like, she's looking at her dad on it. Okay, now the girl.
Are you okay, darling?
It's my fault. I did it.
So this robot is now going to conspire with your kids to lie to you about what's happening?
Right.
That's what I took from that, right? This is so... We gotta just watch that part.
I did it. I'm very sorry.
The robot sits there and lies. Oh,
I'm sorry for what I've done.
I'm sorry, guys.
Let's go, Puri Care.
Let's see. Where's the...
Can I help you, ma'am?
You?
Let me love you. Let me love you. And each one of these has that over-the-top, ridiculously happy plastic smile music with the dancing sun in the background.
No, it's really scary. And like, everyone has like Alexa and like just talks to their devices.
Yeah.
And I'm even guilty of like taking advantage of things like, sometimes I do like grocery pickup because I'm not trying to take all my kids to the grocery store. And it's like, I don't know.
No, I'm guilty of it. There's an extent to which, like, to some extent, it's inescapable, like participating in this, if you want to call it, beast system.
No,
there's things I envy about the Amish lifestyle and community.
Well, and especially if you're like raised up that way, like you're not wanting for anything, like you don't know what else is out there. Like
right.
Same with us. We were brought up in this society where like things are just constantly like evolving and like.
Well, and you're just forced to have a card, and you're forced to have, like, at my job, they got, like, part of my job is giving them my thumbprint or fingerprint to clock in. I needed to sign off this biometrics thing.
Get your temperature taken and fill out a quiz if you feel sick.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just kind of, you can kind of see, I mean, it's almost like all this pandemic force and totalitarian tyrannical takeover. Hey, how's that for a triple T? Triple T tyrannical. Triple T. It's a triple T totalitarian. Okay, leave me alone on it. Been a long time since I've been in the rap. Yes. All right. Anyways, watch. But yeah, the song's about I love you. At this point. The robot.
Riley.
Hi.
There's someone.
This is probably the saddest one of all.
Meet you.
And by the way, this toy, it's like $1,000 and it's trending now. Look it up. Like people are buying them. It's all over YouTube. But look at
My name is Moxie. I'm a new robot. What is your name?
I'm Riley.
It's nice to meet you, Riley. What do you do to get ready for bed?
Brush my teeth and read a story.
I love stories. Would you read a story to me?
Sure. Rita woke with a lovely dream, still fresh in her mind, gracefully gliding across the shimmering ice rink.
Got to pause it for copyright reasons. But I mean, you got this lonely kid, right, who's all sad, and like the salute, and you can already tell again with the music, it goes from sad and it's starting to build up into something more happy because now he's got this friend and inanimate object robot product machine that he can have a fake relationship with, and it's making his parents so happy.
Last one. Breathing exercises always help me relax. Riley, we have a new mission. Would you make a drawing for me?
Okay.
I'm so excited for you to tell me about the dentist. I've never been to one.
You don't have teeth.
But I can still smile. And then what happened?
He said he didn't want to play with me anymore.
Now this is where it's gonna really touch you.
Thank you for telling me about your day. Sometimes holding a friend's hand makes me feel better. Do you want to try squeezing my hand?
So what's our new mission, Moxie?
You'll need paper and a pencil. We are going to make some kind notes. For this mission, you'll need to talk to one of your friends about what makes them happy, and then tell me all about it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Mom, can we invite Mason over to play?
Sure.
So the robot's now telling him to invite people over. I mean, I'm amused by it, but did you ever think you'd see the day? Now, this is the last thing I want to show you before we just finish things off. We're at an hour, 4 minutes. But here's an ad for a robot that the way that they marketed and advertised this product is literally like playing off of people's concerns about all this robot rollout, right? And I'm just going to show you yourself, but just like, it's funny because in the end, it's going to try to make the point that this robot is safe, but all the other ones, like you're justified in having concerns about invasion of privacy and all these concerns with these other robots, but this one's safe, right? That's the idea it plays off, but it never justifies or explains what makes it any different than the other ones. So maybe that'll make more sense in context when I play.
Hey, Vector, what's the weather?
Hey, Vector, take a photo of me.
But how is this not like a movie? It seems more like a movie. It's all,
See you, Vector.
I mean, it looks like CGI, but it's a real product.
How can I help you?
Maybe it's like
Connor, what's the weather?
Rain, buying jacket, buying everything,
No.
selling private information now.
No.
Robot, open the door.
I'm sorry, Ethan, but no. Goodbye.
So maybe that was a little extreme, but there's having some reasonable concerns about the fact, like, do I really want to put this camera and all this stuff into my house that's just going to film me and upload it to the internet all day long? That's pretty scary. But then, fortunately, he sees Vector over here, the good robot. Okay. So I'm about to finish up this slideshow here, but it looks like we got a lot going on in the comments. Man, everybody, thanks in the comments. Thank you, Amber, for staying on top of that. Man, I love to see that. All you guys that are here being all sweet to each other, God bless you. God bless you. TV was a babysitter when I was young, but now it's a robot. Times have changed. Wow, good point, Renee.
Right.
Yeah, TV was the babysitter, and now it's replaced with a robot. I think that's a good point. So that was a predecessor too, and there's really only a pretty thin line that separates the two. All right, let's go back to this. So there you go. But here's the thing: forget robot dogs. No, but forget about just these cute little friendly robots you're going to bring into your house and be your kids' best friends, and all these commercial ones that are going to help in the hospitals and do all this stuff, right? This was from just today, January 2022, January 21st, today. Forget robot dogs. Chinese military develops an enormous robotic yak that is strong enough to carry up to 352 pounds and can sprint at 6 miles per hour. And really quick, just to be clear, the vast majority of all these news clips that I'm showing you guys, even relating to this robotic stuff, with a few exceptions, is literally just from like either today or the last few days. Because when I say there's a rollout, there's an actual rollout. And so the news about it is so prevalent that I was able to, procure all the stuff that I needed just from, it was all within the last week's news. So just something to think about. Anyways, there are 12 sets of joint modules on the robot, allowing it to move forward and backwards, as well as to turn and walk diagonally and sprint while remaining stable. The joints mean that despite its size, it can also jump, run, and turn while making use of advanced sensors to be aware of its surroundings. And this is where, again, the thingy's in my way to see it, some kind of threats. Okay, so, and now this thing, there's already similar robots that even the American military uses them, and it's kind of becoming a common thing in the military right now. And they're used to like carry weight, to like carry soldiers' packs and stuff and walk along, kind of like a cargo thing on wheels. Like, I shouldn't say on wheels, I guess I should say on legs. But anyways, they're also being mounted with weapons, and they're able to be mounted with weapons. And I ran out of time on this slideshow to show you guys, but like, you should look into yourself, like these weaponized robots. I mean, I remember a decade ago listening to Tex Mars talk about this upcoming robot revolution. Again, like a decade ago, if not, somewhere around there. He was talking about these, literal robots that were being created, or at least proposed to be created for warfare. One that was called the Feeder, which was this big, giant, like tank-like thing that apparently would be fueled by any type of organic compound. And then it's like suggested in the literature that this thing is based off of that could include bodies on the field. So just imagine just a bunch of dead bodies in some battlefield, and then some giant robot thing just mowing over the bodies and cleaning up the field and using that as like a compost as a fuel. Anyways, I don't even know, I didn't post any of that stuff, but just some of these, like Russia has some really crazy weaponized robots. Same with China. I'm sure America. It's too bad I ran out of time, but that's not even the worst of it. Check this out. CCOM introduces an autonomous security patrol robot. This is from Hypebeast. This is from 10 hours ago, which makes that maybe 14 hours ago. Equipped with smoke bombs and a detachable arm. A Tokyo-based design factory, CCOM, has designed a new autonomous security robot named Kokobo, focused on maintaining order and harmony in public places. So this is a big one, okay? You look into these robots that are getting rolled out, and a lot of them are police robots, and they're going to be used for what they call riot control. But then as you go down and kind of look into it, it exceeds just being riot control, and just in a lot of cases just becomes more like public monitor robots. Boston Dynamics robotic dogs used by Honolulu police to scan homeless people for fevers. How's that for invasive? Just imagine being some homeless dude and you're already an outcast of society.
We went to a restaurant, like, I don't know, maybe it was like a year ago now, but like they had this thing set up for like to monitor your temperature. Like, so when you were getting sat at your table, you had to walk in front of, remember at Iguanawana?
Yeah.
You had to like walk past it, and it like, you know, it was like this huge screen.
Yeah.
To like see if you had a fever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's creepy.
Like, and this is like a family-owned restaurant. You know, that, I don't know. That was crazy. That was kind of more towards the start of everything.
Another thing that I wish I would have put in the slides that reminds me of what you just said at that restaurant was somebody look this up yourselves. Fact check me on it. This is going to be paraphrased because it's something I just read but didn't include, which is that there's, I think, 2 airports in America that are on the fence. Then there's probably other you know what? Just let me look it up. Let me do it on my phone. I think it's called a Scott 1. Oh, you know what I can do? So, you know, maybe I'm not the most professional, but I just want you guys to actually, let me read this to you. Yeah. Scott 2.0 features. Okay. So they're not going to be able to see that. There's this big, giant 7-foot tall robotic tower that's getting implemented into some of these hospitals. Okay. Look it up yourself. It's called Scott 1 and Scott 2. And this I just took off of the page, the website for the product, for the robot thing. It says, these are the points: streamlined body standing 7 feet tall, solar panels, wraparound RGBD LEDs, cellular and Wi-Fi connectivity, over-the-air software updates, mini PTZ cameras with auto object zoom and long-range visibility, human detection analysis, suspect spotter, trademark, suspect spotter. That's what it's called, like one word, trademark. So that's like a technology, I assume, to spot suspects. License plate recognition, license spotter. Customizable wraparound LED panels, audio integration, built-in VoIP communications. Again, these are just these big 7-foot tall towers. There's going to be, I'm sure if these go into whatever airports it is that's going to do them, it'll just start the new trend. And this will be a thing you can get used to seeing, that when you walk by it, it's going to recognize all your digital like information. It'll be just like a Black Mirror episode, you know, where you walk by a screen and your name pops up and your magic potion status and all that crap. Anyways, long range paging, credential validation, and access control optional, close range intercom. So blah, blah, blah. Dude, I can keep going on about these things, but I just wanted to show, and it seems that you guys can't actually see it. I'll show Amber here. The last one that it lists is, tell me it's on there. Man, I didn't get it right there. Right in front of all the people. Did I? Oh, yeah. So the very last thing it says, and this is highlighted in green, RAD, that's a company or whatever, RAD's exclusive face mask detection system, which I just am still like, I know I've already been commented on that a few times, but it just blows me away, man. Robots to detect the mask thing. It's like, Anthony Perry, who's also been a supporter for quite a while, who I really appreciate, man. Watching from London, the AI robot takeover is coming. Yep. From London, man. I never had no idea you were from London. This guy's, I don't know if you run that Facebook group I'm on, or you at least are an administrator or moderator or whatever. But yeah, Anthony, I appreciate you being here, man. Okay, so Boston Dynamics robotic dogs used by Honolulu police to scan homeless people for fevers. Imagine the invasion of that. You know, you got these poor homeless guys that are sleeping outside that now like literally have this robotic dog getting in their face, measuring their, you know,
right,
data. And I mean, just like how, and you want to talk
it's
about,
like, it's just so invasive. And it's
dude,
like, what is this? Like communist China? Like what?
Yeah.
Where am I?
And Black Mirror keeps coming up, but there's that entire episode. There's a whole episode of Black Mirror that's like all about these Boston Dynamics like robot dogs who turn against the people and pretty much just like, humans have no chance against these robot dogs because, they don't get hurt and whatever. And it's like, what's funny too is Boston Dynamics, just like I subscribe to the World Economic Forum and and Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which I guess now is just Gates Foundation. A lot of these elitist think tanks, I'm actually a subscriber to, and I get all the stuff that they send out, and I'm on their email list just for the sake of research, obviously, and staying on top of this kind of stuff. But in the case of Boston Dynamics, when they first started rolling out these dogs that I think they were calling Spot, I sent an email through their website and just posed as like some rich guy. And I was like, I'm kind of interested in that Spot dog. And I had like this 3 email long email chain with this representative at Boston Dynamics being like, well, what do you want to use the dogs for? Like, just so that they could, specify and modify the robot dog according to my applications and needs, But I was like, well, I'd rather not share that. It's kind of for private reasons, but I would prefer if it can become armed, or if it could possibly be armed. And anyways, the guy continued to have he was like, okay, well, I'm going to need a few more details, but we can do this and that. And we work with this police force and they used it to do this. And so anyways, it doesn't make for maybe as good of a story, but it's just a funny thing in my head to think of in my own spare time, like the times I've reached out to these organizations. But yeah, you want to talk about like that being invasive, the robot dogs walking up on homeless people and measuring the poor guys. Look what's going on in Singapore. Singapore trials patrol robots to warn people of undesirable behavior. It reminds me of RoboCop. Man, Singapore is testing. I just got headlines for this, you guys, but look into this yourself if you're interested. It'll break your heart. Singapore is testing robots to patrol the streets for undesirable behavior like smoking. New robots patrolling for antisocial behavior causing unease in Singapore streets. So these things are literally rolling around like looking for indications of antisocial behavior, undesirable behavior like smoking, obviously not wearing a mask. And these poor people just trying to live their lives, or they just got this machine that's going around. I mean, this is the reality, you guys. It's like I hope that I hope this is painting a clear enough picture. This is the last thing we're going to cover. China creates robot prosecutor to charge public with crimes, including political dissent. This from Express. Now, really, try to hang with me here. Try to focus on this. We're almost done, you guys, but this is important. Understand the implications here. Researchers in China. Now, again, and when I say understand the implications, let's keep in mind it is China. But I mean, if you don't think this is going to come here, then you're not paying attention to history. Researchers in China are testing a new artificial intelligence machine that can reportedly identify crimes and file charges against criminals. In a scene that's eerily similar to RoboCop, this program, created by Chinese scientists, has been trained to identify instances of cases featuring Shanghai's 8 most common crimes. The AI was developed and tested by the Shanghai Pudong People's Procuratorate. That's probably a word I know that I'm just not reading because I'm on the spot, right? But anyways, let's just move on. Which is the country's largest district public prosecution office. According to the South China Morning Post, it can file a charge with more than 97%. So again, this AI prosecutor, this artificially intelligent robot technology prosecutor that is designed to identify and prosecute criminals, right? That it was proven that it can file a charge with more than 97% accuracy based on a description of a suspected criminal case. In a paper published in Management Review, the researchers said the system can replace prosecutors in the decision-making process to a certain extent. Get the humans out of there. We'll just let the AI determine this person's fate with their human interactions. The machine is built off an existing AI tool called System 206 and is already being used by authorities in Shanghai to help assess evidence and decide whether or not a suspected criminal was dangerous to the public at large. Why do you need a robot to help you determine that? Wouldn't a human be the best to determine the motivations of another human? According to the researchers in the paper, the technology was fairly limited as it could not participate in the decision-making process of filing charges and sentences. Doing so would mean that the AI needs to be able to identify and remove irrelevant information in a case, along with being able to process human language in its neural network. The machine can identify and charge criminals with Shanghai's 8 most common crimes: credit card fraud, gambling, reckless driving, I could see that, intentional assault, obstructing an officer, theft, fraud, and even political dissent. Have a robot out there deciding if your opinion should be criminalized or not, or if it's already against the law. And this is China. I mean, it is illegal to have the wrong opinion, as it is in China, as it is in America now too. The inclusion of dissent has raised concerns that the system could be adopted by the Chinese Communist Party and weaponized to quash political protests. A decision that seems pretty well founded. Finn. That's it. There's so much I could have gone on with this robot topic, you guys, and it's something that I'll continue to revisit because I think it's going to be a real prominent part of our lives in the near future. See what you guys are talking about. Another older movie is also about oh yeah, Demolition Man, dude. All these apocalyptic or I should say like post-apocalyptic future dystopian movies, that Running Man and all that are it's just, again, like you think of, if Scripted Reality is still here, please, you guys go check out Did you ever get your link up there, Scripted Reality?
I don't think he did post it.
Dude, all right, give me a second.
I didn't see it.
Give me a second.
Sarah ended up finding it, but I don't think Mark of the Beast resisted.
You guys don't leave the stream. I'm just gonna pull up my friend Scripted Reality thingy real quick. Scripted Reality, and you want to
he
filter
literally
by
just commented.
What do you say?
Well, he was talking. He just said, "This is why I never watch robot stuff. Scary as H."
Dude, it is scary. I think it's got to be the scariest topic. Come on, Scripted Reality. Why am I having trouble finding it? How do I just filter? I can't have this dead space for too long, man. Where are you, Scripted Reality? I'm insisting, buddy. You got to put your link up there. How do I search just for channels? You know what I mean?
Dude, don't ask me. You're like all
right, his most recent. How about that? Oh, you know what? I'll do this. That thing you put up with about Poppy and the masks, and I don't know, man. Scripted Reality, I hope you can get your thing up there. I just can't do it live. I tried. Okay, so we're going to be ending this thing in a minute, but something I wanted to mention back at the beginning when we were talking about this. Okay, so you're giving 12-year-olds to 17-year-olds, but again, 12-year-olds, man. How old are my nieces?
Okay, so they're
15?
14 and 15.
And they're kids. And like, you're giving them, I wanted to make this point, Amber, and then we'll talk about it. But so say you live in California and you might teach your kids, say you don't want to give your kids the potion, right? And you might explain to your kids and tell them the truth about what it is that your concerns would be and why you believe like you do and all that. Understand, like, if you're not homeschooling your kids and if you're sending them off to school, then this is what you're up against. When it comes to the kids being able to make their own decision about getting the magic potion, they are going to be coerced daily to do that.
To make your choice about wearing masks beginning next Monday. However, until that time, I'm going to be gently reminding you to keep your mask up on your face. And if you choose not to wear a mask next week, I will probably have you sitting in the back of the room, and I will not come to your desk to help you if you are not wearing a mask. I'm doing that for my protection as well as yours. So if you want my help at your desk, keep a mask handy. So I'm just throwing that out there. You have a choice to wear a mask or not, and I have a choice to get near you or not. So that's what's going to happen, and I just want to give you a heads up that that's how it's going to be.
So
that's insane.
no, that was in Virginia, not California, but I know you guys already see this stuff in the news every day, man. When I do the next part of the war on kids, we're going to be getting into education, and there's already so many clips that I've saved just regarding the things that these teachers are like saying to their kids now. They're all coming out of the closet to the kids, and they're, the kids celebrate it, and they're doing a lot of weird stuff in school these days. Something Sarah was talking about earlier.
Well, it's like you don't know what's going on. They're gone most of the day, and y'all are so tired. When your kid gets home, I mean, you were just mentioning this, they have homework. Mm-hmm. And, you're busy cooking dinner and trying to take care of the other kids, that it's just like you don't even know what's going on. And like, it's just so scary.
It is, man. And it's scary. It's scary to have young kids, and if you're not like in a church or Christian school or homeschooling, and you're sending your kids off to this public school, like, I understand that's an extreme example I just showed with that teacher. It's just something that happens to be in the news right now. But yeah, they're you have an entire institution that's working against you, and that's going to try indoctrinating your children. And it's just the point. So keep my family and other families like mine that have young kids in your prayers. Because, like I mentioned before, Mark of the Beast Resistance, and the thing he put out today was talking about the 7-year tribulation period and thinking that he's in it. And you know what? It's clear to me, like I'm watching the signs that the Bible tells us to watch for. Like that's what they're there for. So that when you see them happen, that that Christ is coming, that the return is imminent. And we are now seeing these signs, right? And the idea that, and listen, my kids are, they'll be in heaven if the big thing happens. But man, it's just so, it's just hard. It's a hard time right now. It's actually, as I keep saying, it's an exciting time. It's an important time to be alive. You're privileged to be alive right now, especially if you understand this stuff. Is there's a war for souls going on right now. That's where there always has been a war for souls going on. And while God intends and wills that all men would seek him and come to faith in Jesus and be saved, Satan simultaneously wills that, man would avoid and deny God. And so he's hard at work, distracting us, and now as we seem to be entering the Antichrist kingdom stage, you can see that it's getting built by builders like Freemasons. And I don't want to get onto that thing. I'm just saying, like, at this point, if you can't, all the dots of the old conspiracy theories, like if they're not connected now into a very tangible, realistic, and obvious and objective picture in front of you, then you're just being oblivious to reality at this point. So I think I'm about to wrap it up here, you guys. I mean, my voice is literally going on me because I've just been yapping so long. Next, let me tell you guys about next week. Next week, we're going to be doing the show again, but we're going to be doing it from a hotel in
Wisconsin Dells.
In Wisconsin Dells, because my son has a field trip at a place called the Kalahari, not to be confused with calamari. Kalahari.
It's with a K, so
and it has a K. Which
it's a water park,
right? And hey, thanks for the love, bro. And yes, prayers for all parents. My heart goes out to all of you raising young ones. Thank you, Renee. My heart goes out to you too. Dealing with some health issues. I hope you don't mind me mentioning that, but you said it publicly in my comments before. But while we're talking about praying, you guys pray for Renee here too. Pray for everybody. Pray for each other, you guys. Listen. What was there something I was going to say?
Okay, but about our mini vacay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. I was just about to end the stream.
You're covering
next week. Okay, so my son's got the field trip. It's a water park.
So exciting.
Amber, tell him the sweet thing that regarding the thing, or don't.
What?
I guess it wasn't that sweet.
Wait, what sweet thing?
No, because I was going to go with
you. Okay, so Tim took off a half day Thursday, so we're gonna leave here. The Dells is it's 2 hours from where we live, and it's of course this really touristy place, but with Levi's curriculum, they pay for field trips, so we just literally show up and meet up with the group, get the pass, and go about our day. Anyways, so it's at a water park, this time. So Tim took a half day off Thursday. So we're gonna go to the Dells Thursday night, and it's gonna be like a surprise. We're gonna stay at a hotel and then do the water park Friday, and then stay Friday night too. And we never do stuff
So
like
yeah,
this,
so we're
you
pretty
know?
we don't really. So we're pretty excited. It's
I'm
gonna be
so
like a
excited.
little mini vacay.
They're gonna have so much fun.
And we are gonna do our show next Friday. Now, moving forward, I really do want to do this show every week, but I want you guys to give us some grace if a week goes by where we don't. Just because, man, I am using every spare minute I have to pull this together. But I think this show tonight went really good. I was satisfied to be able to cover a topic in detail like I like to do, but also hit a few other things going on. I really like that tonight. So I think I'm capable of making it happen, but there will be weeks we can't do it. But you know what? We're going to do it next week as well. So please come back. We're going to do it from our hotel room. Don't know if the kids will be in the background. I'm not going to be doing a presentation about some dark and dreary stuff. We might comment on some stuff in the news, but I want it just to be more of a hangout talk, maybe a Q&A kind of deal. Maybe we'll talk about some stuff going on. So
also we're meeting up with my sister-in-law, Tim's brother's wife, and their 5 kids. We're gonna have conjoining rooms Friday night. So we're gonna have it's gonna be I don't know. We'll play it by ear, but there's just gonna be a million kids, and that's just our life.
So in Scripted Reality, says what's a topic next week. So yeah, when I say I'm not going to do a presentation, like we are still going to be covering, we're still going to be talking about Fallen World stuff, but it's going to be kind of relaxed. I just want to kind of talk with you guys more. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. It'll be whatever come next Friday, whatever the thing is that people like us care about is going on. That's what we're going to talk about. Love to see you guys making friends in the chat. Okay, you guys, I think this was a good show. I love you all. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back next week. And what can I say? Thank you all very much for your love and support. Please share the channel. Please check out fallenworldfilms.com. I've been putting up some new designs of shirts and stuff. No obligation to buy anything. And yes, it's overpriced. That's forced to be because of the system. I don't want it to be that way. It's just the thing I'm using. But it's cool stuff, and I'm making up cool artistic designs I think you guys might like. So, hey, check out fallenworldfilms.com while you're at it. All right. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And until next time. Because remember signing off. This is Tim.
This is Amber.
From Fallen World Films.